video of you talking to Brock after the game, telling him how much you believed in him, how crazy it was that he was doing what he was doing. What were you feeling in that moment that made you say that stuff to him?
I don't know if I was feeling anything. I was happy we won.
You were so young. You were a rookie the last time you were in the Super Bowl. What have you learned? How did that experience shape you to what you are now? And how are you using whatever you learned for the younger guys?
It definitely, you learn a lot going through a long season in 19, and you don't understand it as much as a rookie, how hard it is to get there. But just how hard you have to play and how locked in you have to be for the entire 4 quarters if you actually want to win. And I learned that, and I'm going to just relay to the guys that there has to be a different level of effort, of intensity, of unselfishness that you have to get to for every single snap that you're in there.
Does that seem recent, or does that seem a million years ago because of COVID?
It seems like a pretty good amount of time ago, honestly. A lot has happened.
Well, you were pretty adamant after that game that you weren't going to watch it. You didn't watch it. Have you indeed watched it or been forced to watch it this week?
Yeah, no, I've watched it. Yeah.
What kind of feelings did that bring up?
It's definitely just I start sweating a little bit. But it's fun to watch. I mean, that's a Super Bowl defense right there, and we got to take a page out of that if we want to go win it.
Were you held on the Wasp play?
On which one?
On the 3rd and 15?
I don't think they had the back view, but yeah, I'm sure. It's Eric Fisher.
Do you think that this defense is playing to the level of that 2019 defense in the Super Bowl?
Say
Do you think that your current defense has been playing that intensity level that the 2019 unit was playing in that game?
I think we are, just not as consistently as we need to be.
What makes the Chiefs' rushing attack tough to stop?
Their running back runs really hard, and then all the other threats that Mahomes and everybody else create kind of open it up because you're not expecting as much of a run-heavy game. And but yeah, they have a really good O-line, and I think Pacheco has kind of revamped their run game.
Nick, after a loss in the Super Bowl, how long did it take to kind of get past it to where it felt fine, or have you gotten to that point yet?
Yeah, I don't remember exactly, but I remember thinking a lot about it in Fort Lauderdale when we weren't allowed to do much of anything.
Nick, you come across as soft-spoken and kind of easygoing, but who in your guys' D-line room holds guys accountable to the kind of speed and effort and energy you want to see every game?
I think Chris starts there and Tap, and definitely me and Eric. We try to create a standard over the years that that effort is what we do best, and we definitely need to keep that up.
What's wrong with defending Patrick Mahomes?
I think keeping him in the pocket as best as you can is one of the big things, just because he loves to improvise and do all that stuff, and then full-on effort. Kyle called it defensive line stamina is the key to the game.
You're playing unselfishly. Have you dealt with players being selfish at all this season?
No, not outwardly or anything like that. It's just the way you play the game. You have to play with the mindset that you're the only guy out there at times. It's something you have to rep. You don't just turn it on and off when you're a backside player and the play's 40 yards away from you. It's just human nature to slow down, or maybe it comes out of your vision for a second so you don't see it. You think 3 guys are over there. It's a mindset of just going and going and going and going and going, and that's what we need to do.
Now, I talked this week about he wanted everybody to get their affairs in order, basically family, travel, accommodations, all the stuff that goes with the Super Bowl. Is that all done for you? Or?
Yeah, I don't deal with that. My mother does.
Nick, the hardest part of dealing with Andy Reid offense with all the bells and whistles he'll throw at you, motions and all the things that he'll do. How does that challenge you guys as a defense?
That's more of a back end type of thing question. But he's a great game planner. I'm sure he's going to have some wrinkles for us, and hopefully we could anticipate some of them and make the plays when we need to.
You look at who he was when he got here a little bit over a year ago and how he is now. How have you seen his game change?
Who's that?
Mooney.
Mooney. I don't know if his game has changed. I think he's been playing at a high level ever since he's gotten here, and he's a valuable piece, a Super Bowl winner, and somebody who knows how to get it done.
How does that help you when you have a Super Bowl winner like that on your defense?
Just experience, especially at corner where you're left on an island a lot, and just knowing your technique and what to do and how to cover guys.
From an emotional standpoint, what does it mean to face the same team you guys faced in 2019, same coach, same quarterback, even the same color uniforms from that day? What does that bring?
It's definitely going to bring some emotion that I'm trying to hold back until we get close. We still have a lot of time, so you don't want to burn out, but it's going to be an intense day.
Does anything stand out about Taylor and Smith when you watch them on film? Taylor's, I think, leads the NFL with a ton of penalties. Anything stand out when you watch them?
They hold a lot.
Nick, I'm sorry, go ahead.
Okay, go ahead, Eric.
I just got stage fright. I'm sorry.
Forgot?
Okay, well,
I'll come after you.
sounds good.
It's terrible.
Nick, you talked about, coming out with intensity and effort on every single snap. How do you ensure that you do that next Sunday for 4 full quarters and not just, a portion of the game, as has kind of been the case the last couple of weeks?
I think it starts today. I think having 2 weeks is really good because you could kind of just ingrain things in your mind game plan wise this week, and then just pile on repetitions next week. But yeah, it's just having that mindset and knowing that if I'm going to give everything I've got, I got to be able to get out of the game, and the next guy has to be fresh and ready to do the same.
Okay, I've got it. Right, thank you. So we lost on Christmas, and there's been a lot of talk that kind of changed things. They've become much more balanced offensively. Would you say it's I don't know, from what they've shown from Christmas on, a dramatically different type of style offense that they're running than what you saw in the Super Bowl?
I don't know if I've watched it in sequence like that. I have watched that game. I've watched a playoff game, but I don't know exactly how they changed.
You played much more recently last year. Christian McCaffrey's first game. Did you watch that game again? And that one was pretty one-sided. What do you remember about that one?
Definitely some things that I need to be ready for because they were definitely game planning me a little bit in that game. So some things that I need to be ready for Andy Reid to do, and just as a defense, we were playing good ball. It's just about playing 4 quarters. Some of the cuts and some of the chips and stuff that I could be ready for. Sure.
Nick, do you remember the first time that Kyle asked you to speak to the team and what kind of emotions that generated in you? And have you literally spoken to the team every Saturday since then?
Yeah. I don't remember the first time, which is surprising, but I usually remember traumatic experiences. But I don't remember. But no, it's been good for me. I've kind of enjoyed dealing with the stress and kind of facing in something that I'm not used to. Yep.
So young, you were a rookie when you guys were in the Super Bowl. How did that experience shape what's happened since? And especially as a leader and what you can pass on to the younger guys now.
Yeah, I mean, I look back at that moment, and I can truly say that I really was in the moment, and I took it really, really seriously, even though I was young. But when you're young and naive, you think you're like, when you go so early in your career, it's like, man, this is just what it's like. You go to the Super Bowl every year, you have a chance to compete, and that's not what the case is. So we've been so close, and now we finally have another opportunity. And you got to make the most of it because you never know if you're gonna have another opportunity. You know, you really got to sell out for 3 hours and give it your best.
Well, the defensive standard here has been so high, and so with that in mind, I pose the question: how would you assess like the collective defensive performance in the first 2 playoff games?
Yeah, not good enough. Not good enough at all. And you mentioned it. The standard has been what it has been for as long as I've been here. You know, and we've relied heavily on winning games on defense, holding teams to minimal points, suffocating teams, dictating how the game's going to go based off of how we go, and that hasn't been the case the last 2 games, and that's for a bunch of different reasons, but we have an opportunity to right that. They're probably looking at the tape, they're thinking they have a great opportunity ahead, and they as they should look at that tape, and they should think that. But to say that we have, a great opportunity to correct that and make sure that we give our best performance in the Super Bowl, I think that's exactly where our mindset's at.
What's been the issue with the run defense in particular? I think they're even up like 5.6 yards per carry in the playoffs, which is so unlike you guys.
Yeah, I mean, it's a collection of things. I think on any given play when we're not executing the right way, it's just either one guy out of a gap, it's not giving great effort as a whole, as a group, like we have been in the past. When you're playing violent, you're playing fast, you're playing with great effort, that cleans a lot of that stuff up. So it's from an execution standpoint, from a standard standpoint, like we just got to make sure we get back to that.
In this game, you've played in this game now before. What did the one experience that you had in this game, teach you about maybe your approach the second time around?
You got to play a full 60 minutes. To say, we're up by 10 points late in the game, and I'm thinking, hey, like we're about to win us a Super Bowl, and that thing switched pretty quick, and that scarred me for life. Like, because now to this day, it doesn't matter if it's a preseason, regular season, playoff game. I never start getting excited until that clock hits 0. And so that's got to be the mindset. Playing all the way to the very end, because they got a pretty special guy back there throwing the football, and we got to do our best to stuff them.
Scar you for life. The fact that it's the same team, same coach, same quarterback, even the same color uniforms are going to wear that day. What emotions does that bring, and how do you channel them?
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure that's going to get built up all week. The rematch and that sort of thing. I think at the end of the day, there is 2 completely different teams because there's a lot of different faces on each side of the ball. I think we just got to treat this as it is. This is a different offense than what it was back then when we played them. It does have a lot of similar players there, obviously in crucial positions, but we just got to make sure we prepare the right way and we're ready to go on Sunday.
And after that Super Bowl, you felt like you said after that Super Bowl, you felt like you felt you could get back there. This is just kind of the mindset becomes like, oh, it's easy to get back here because you did it so young in your career. What was the most difficult part of getting back there over these last few years, whether it was COVID year or coming up short in the NFC Championship? What has struck you the most about that climb back?
Yeah, I mean, every year is kind of different. I think you think back to 21, we barely scraped into the playoffs on that last game of the season and fought our way to the NFC Championship game and lost to a really good Rams team who went on to win the Super Bowl. And then last year we lose our quarterback in the NFC Championship game, don't really have a chance at it. And then this year being down in both games in the playoffs to then come back and win them, I think in every single one of those situations it's just been different, even going back to 19. So every year is different. You got to find a way to win and get over that hump. It comes down to 1 or 2 plays in the game in the playoffs and even into the Super Bowl.
The Ravens have a very good defense, really good linebackers. They knew that they had to stop Travis Kelce in that last game, and they didn't. What makes that so special for the Chiefs, that quarterback tight end relationship that they have?
Yeah, I think they obviously have as great a bond as any, 1-2 punch in the NFL, like from a quarterback and skilled player position, maybe in history. I think the fact that they know Pat knows exactly where Kelsey's going to be on every given play. Kelsey having the confidence and the trust in Pat that he can run his routes a certain way where it's not necessarily going to be by the playbook. He's just going to try and find open space, and they can, they can just kind of have a feel out there on the field. You can go into a game saying, we're just going to double them, and that's going to open up other things. So you want to try to stay true as well as contest that. But, they're obviously one of the best to do it.
When you went into the locker room at halftime Sunday, did you look at a stat sheet where you like, we gave up 280 yards at the first half?
No, I didn't. I didn't want to look at the stat sheet. I'm sure that would have really compounded on top of the feelings that were already there. But I knew it wasn't a good half at all. And yeah, we had to switch some things up.
You have to play 60 minutes that you faced in the last 2 games. How much does that help giving so much more consistent effort going forward?
Having gone through the adversity as a team or on defense. Yeah, on defense, I think, like I said before, like this is an opportunity in my eyes to correct the wrongs that we've had. You talk about, even though we played the way we did and still found a way to win with the offense that we got right now, it says everything about our team and about our chances of winning this game that's coming up. Because if we do shore up the things that we need to do, if we do come out and we play the defense that I know that we're capable of doing, I know we have a great chance of winning the game.
Right, Dre play with a ton of passion, and you can see it on the film. If you're watching that film and you see somebody going half speed or loafing, are you the kind of guy that gets in a guy's face and says, hey, that's unacceptable, that's not our standard?
I think it's the thing that is more meaningful than just trying to get on specific guys, I think, is being the guy that shows consistency and is the truest example of exactly what we're looking for. I can look at plays in this past game where I wasn't fully giving my 100% effort, and it's like, who am I to sit there and talk down on somebody else when I wasn't all the way there, you know what I'm saying? So I'm always trying to look at myself first in the mirror and make sure that I'm the example. Today when we're out there to practice, how do you look in practice right now? Like, how do I look, and what example am I giving to my guys for what we're trying to look like on Sunday? It's not just going to happen just because we talk about it. It's got to be something that you do day in and day out, and we have that opportunity today.
Trent's locker situation is unique.
Yes, it is.
I think to the uninitiated who would be like, well, who's this guy? But I guess, what does it say about him and his status on the team that I don't think anyone begrudges him his real estate?
Yeah, it is funny that, it really doesn't get talked about much. We just kind of walk by and we're like, yeah, this is just kind of, Trent's little mall that he has right here. It's, just kind of his own little area. He's already got a gold jacket to his name, so I'm pretty sure he can do whatever he wants in that locker room, and guys are not going to say much about it.
But when you talk about learning from the last Super Bowl how important it is to play 60 minutes, how helpful is it to have someone like Charvarius Ward on the defense that has been through that and won a Super Bowl?
Yeah, it's just helpful to have a Super Bowl champ on our side, a guy who is a Pro Bowler and an All-Pro and has been outstanding for us this entire year. I'm really proud of Mooney, the way that he's competed and played this year. And obviously he's been there, he's done that, and having that veteran presence in the secondary is going to help on that side of the ball, or just in that area of our defense. And we're going to need him big time come Sunday.
You faced Mahomes 3 times. You haven't beaten him yet. What's the key to defending him?
Yeah, I think that's something that we got to continue to try to search for and find out through the tape leading up to Sunday. And, I think he's obviously one of the greatest to ever do it, and he's going to have his plays in the game. We got to make sure we limit him to making it the least amount of those as possible during the game.
But have you seen Steve Wilkes grow as a defensive coordinator in your year together?
Yeah, I think just the thing that's been so great with him and with me and the entire defense is the flow of communication and continuing to, to talk through things. I think him obviously coming down from the box to the sideline, me and him talked about it. It's not about just like, the whole energy of him being down there. It's more so about just being able to look each other in the eye and in those crucial situations where it's like, hey, what do you want? Like, what do you want? He's asking me, like, what do you want to play here? It's not about just giving a call and making us play it. It's like, no, we're fully into this thing together. We're gonna ride it out all the way to the end, and we have an opportunity to finish this thing the right way.
It's been a lot better in the second half of these 2 playoff games. Is he a guy who makes a lot of halftime adjustments, or how do you explain the better performance in the second half?
Yeah, that's consistent as long as I've been here. I feel like even last year, even though we had a number 1 defense, like there were times in games where like the first half just wasn't working for us, and we made like 1 or 2 changes in terms of just what we were calling, simple adjustments, and then we start snuffing people out, and it's like, dang, like D'Amico's a genius. He made all these changes, and it's like, well, we made a couple changes, but it was just like a matter of just getting in the flow of the game and executing and just making a couple of adjustments. And I feel like that's been the same case here. It's not like we did a whole bunch different in the second half. It's just guys started playing, and being more aggressive and stopping the run. So that puts more pressure on Goff, getting 3 and outs, getting a takeaway, like those little things like that.
Did you get a ring 2019 for NFC Championship, and where is it, and what are your thoughts on it?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know where that ring is, but I remember we got one. And I was like, oh, this is cute. Yeah. Yeah.
You got Super Bowl second year, like, oh, this is the way it goes. Because Trent is like 52 and he's
Right.
going to his first Super Bowl.
Mm.
Do you,
A lot of Trent today.
Yeah, our secret. But do you have any sense of like just his journey, like having talked to him since Sunday, or do you just know how much this means to him?
Yeah, I mean, I think we can all kind of sense how much it means to him, and you can sense it in the way that he speaks to the team. He always talks to the team right before we head out for the game, and and just the emotion that he plays with, the way that he plays, and the emotion he showed after the game, even after winning the NFC Championship, knowing that he has an opportunity to go to the Super Bowl. It means a lot to him just because at this point in your career, year 14, having done everything, did all the Pro Bowls, all pros, and all these sorts of things, like you want to do something that is going to cement your legacy forever. Like being able to win a Super Bowl is everything. So I know it means a lot to him.
All right, thanks, Brad.
Thanks, guys.
Make sure you subscribe.